Universal Studios has just opened its newest hotel, the Terra Luna Resort. And with Epic Universe just right around the corner, this could be a prime spot to stay for those that are looking to check out Epic Universe. So how does it stack up? From the rooms to the dining and everything in between, I'm going to break down this hotel, if it's a must book or just another option in Universal's growing lineup. So we are going to get into it today. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic. And if you're familiar with Stella Nova or Terra Luna, these are the two hotels that are right outside of Epic Universe. Stella Nova opened in January, and this hotel, Terra Luna, was supposed to open in February but was delayed and ended up opening March 25th. We stayed here a few days after it opened. We were there for the second day of Stella Nova. So we checked out both hotels early on in their opening process here. So it's kind of a good comparison. And Stella Nova and Terra Luna are sister hotels, very, very similar with slight differences between the two. And we will start off with just what Universal says about Terra Luna. Say the all-new Universal Terra Luna Resort was inspired by the thrill of exploring the unknown and pushing the limits of discovery. It's much more than your launch pad into amazing adventure and exclusive theme park benefits at the parks. It's also your landing zone for relaxation and recharging between the fun. And Terra Luna has 750 rooms. It is a value plus resort, so it is a little bit of a step above, say, the Endless Summer, Dockside, and Surfside hotel rooms that you will find down the road from these, but they still are in the value range. And given that these are within walking distance of Epic Universe, it's a very strong selling point for the fact of not only the location, but the price point you're going to be typically finding these at, as normally to be within walking distance of a theme park. You are going to be paying upwards of $600-700 if you think about the Contemporary over at Magic Kingdom. So on that end alone, it is a really good value just given that close to Epic Universe, and it is in the value plus category. So when you come up to this hotel from the outside, it essentially looks just like Stella Nova. They have the same colorful tiles. They have the same style of porte-cochere. So from the outside, basically the exact same looking hotel. When you go into the lobby, again, very, very similar. Lots of whites, lots of rounded edges. There's really no straight corners or straight angles in this hotel, nor in Stella Nova. I don't know if it's true. It felt a little bit smaller at Terra Luna than it did at Stella Nova. I don't know if that's true. It just may be the way it is laid out, but it did feel that way when I walked in. And the layout is reversed. So at Stella Nova, when you walk in, to your right is how you get to the rooms and the amenities, and then to the left is where you find the food options. So at Terra Luna, when you walk in, to your right is actually where the food options are, and then to your left is how you get to the rooms and the amenities there. Both have pools in the same area, very similar pools as well, but those are on the backside of the hotel. Lobby-wise, again, it's the same thing I said with Stella Nova. It's a lot of whites, a lot of modern looks. It's not my aesthetic, personally speaking, but it does fit the theming of more of a, like a spaceport, if you will. I think we likened it to sort of version of like the Jetsons or Men in Black in terms of that type of style. So it's very consistent at both hotels. I do feel like Stella Nova had a few extra splashes of color on the backside where the Luna bar is. Here is the same place in the Stella Nova where their bar is. On the backside of the seating, there's like a space picture there. They didn't have that here at Terra Luna, so there was a lot more whites, a lot more space where I think they could have used a little bit more accents and things in there. But overall, I mean, it was just fine. It was about what I expected. So there is some seating in the lobby as well. You have the gift shop that's right there as soon as you walk in. You have baggage service. You have your front desk. You also have an Avis rent-a-car area in here. So lobby-wise, just, nothing amazing. But for a value-level hotel, it has a very tall ceiling. And it's, it does present the vibe I think they're going for, which is sort of a futuristic spaceport type of thing going on here. Now, checking in, everything went smooth. One thing I don't like about this hotel is the fact that how much they charge for parking, which is typically around $30 to park, which for a value hotel or really any hotel, I loathe parking charges, but that is a charge that you are going to have here. I also do believe if you want to park just for a day pass when Epic Universe is open, I do believe a day pass is around $90. So they're definitely trying to deter people from just parking in the parking lot there and walking over to Epic Universe. So the rooms here at Terra Luna are essentially identical to the ones at Stella Nova, same room categories. You have standard rooms, which are 2 queen-size beds, and this is what they have across the entire property. There's no other category of rooms here, but they do have a pool view standard room as well. So you can get a pool view or a standard view, but both are just going to be standard size suites with 2 queen beds. The rooms are 315 square feet, so about average or a little bit above average depending on the value resort that you may be looking at. The only real difference in the rooms is the picture of the planet above the headboard. It is different in Terra Luna than it is at Stella Nova, but the lighting, the bed fixtures, the furniture, the bathroom, everything in there is essentially the exact same thing to Stella Nova. So if you took a picture of both, you would probably only be able to tell it was Terra Luna from the fact that it has purple pillows versus Stella Nova, I believe, had like blue pillows or orange pillows. Decent amount of space. They use the space well. There's no under bed storage, but there is storage underneath the dresser, underneath the TV. So you can put luggage down there. There's also a closet in the room. And there also is a divider, kind of this halfway divider that they also had at Stella Nova they have here. You can pull a curtain if you want more privacy. It kind of divides the room a little bit. So if you're going to the bathroom, you kind of have a little privacy that way. It has a single sink, has a light up mirror, a walk-in shower, and just your typical bathroom there. Now, I will say at Stella Nova, we did have some issues when we stayed there with some of the water pressure in the toilet, in the shower with the hot water, as it ran out of hot water very, very quickly, and the water pressure was not ideal. Didn't have this issue in this room at Terra Luna. The water pressure seemed fine. We had plenty of hot water when we took showers, so it seems like those issues did not come over to Terra Luna. But when a new hotel opens, there's going to be problems from time to time, and that's just one of those things. I'm sure it's been fixed at Stella Nova at this point. And again, we stayed there on the second day, so those things are likely to happen. The beds are actually pretty comfortable. So, Universal beds sometimes are hit and miss, but I will say these are pretty comfortable. I'm not a huge fan of Universal's pillows. It may sound kind of being picky, but I'm kind of picky about pillows. You just kind of sink to the bottom of them. So typically I have to use two pillows because I kind of like a firmer pillow, but that is a small critique. And you could always bring your own pillow if you wanted to, but the beds themselves, very comfortable. The room was clean. Obviously it was brand new, I don't know if we were the first ones to stay in the room or not, but again, it was very clean. There's also plenty of storage you have underneath the TV there. There's also outlets. If you push a button, it pops up on there. You have multiple power outlets. You have USB outlets. You have USB-C outlets. And you also have outlets near the nightstand between the two beds there. And then the alarm clock actually also serves as a mobile charging device, a wireless charging device. So you can just put your phone on there and it will charge it, which is kind of nice to have there. It also has a fridge. It has a coffee maker in there, which I never use because I'm very picky on coffee, but you can make coffee in your room. There's a little table that you can move around the room as well next to the bench that's next to the dresser and the TV right there. And then our view was just a standard view. We could see Stella Nova and we could see a little bit of Epic Universe from our room. So it had a pretty decent view. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a pool view, but it was just, you had some sights that you could look out the window and check out. And these have that port window where, again, it's supposed to feel like you're kind of in a spaceport, kind of a futuristic feel to the room. Now, I will say from a design standpoint, I love the headboards and the lighting in this room. I think they both here at Terra Luna and Stella Nova, I'm a big fan of how they did that just from an aesthetic point of view. But overall, the room was fine. We had our kids with us, so we had 4 people in the room. It seemed very comfortable, didn't have any issues with space, given, we only stayed one night, but in the value level rooms, it was about what I expected from the space you would get in a typical value. Now, one thing I will say is this hotel uses a lot of motion sensors to have things work, like the lights. I've heard some people have some real issues with that. Typically, our son doesn't like to sleep with the lights completely off, so we sometimes will just turn a light on and crack it in the bathroom, and it would automatically turn off after a period of time. Some people have said they've had issues with lights turning on in the middle of the night and other things. We haven't experienced that, but I have heard if you put like a sticky note over the sensors, it will keep a light on. You may not have the motion sensor issues going on, so that's something you can do. Something I'm not a fan of is the thermostat in this room also. So when we walked in, it was about 78 degrees. Very warm, so turn the air down, and it was getting cooler. Then we left to go to the parks, and we came back about 8 o'clock that evening, and the room was back at 78 degrees because the air only runs if you're in the room. So I get it from an energy standpoint, but if you're coming into your room, let's say later after spending a lot of times in the parks, it's going to take a little bit for that room to cool down. It probably took about 2 hours for it to go from 78 degrees down to under 70 degrees because we like to sleep when it's pretty cool. So that feature I'm not a huge fan of, as it's only going to run when you're in the room, I'm assuming, from motion sensors and things like that. So that was something, I wasn't a huge fan of that, just because nothing worse walking in from being sweaty in a theme park into a hot and sweltering room, taking time to cool down. But admittedly, that's a pretty small thing when you're talking about a hotel room. It does cool down. The air conditioning worked just fine. It's just the fact that it's not going to run if you're not in the room. Now, I don't know if you turn the motion sensors off or cover them with sticky notes. I don't know if it solves that problem, but I suppose some tinkering around and seeing if it works, could see if that works for you. One of the things I talked about at Stella Nova was the very thin walls in that hotel room. Some of the thinnest walls that I have ever experienced was in that hotel room. And it sounded, again, like you could hear people having conversations on the other side of the wall, like they were in the room with you. Very, very thin walls there. Here at Terra Luna, I don't know if there's nobody was next to us. I'm assuming that could be the case because this hotel was not full when we stayed here. So I don't know if there just wasn't anybody next to us or not, but we did not hear anybody around us while we were staying here. So it very well could have been that just nobody was right next door to us, because I don't believe that they built Terra Luna any differently than they did Stella Nova, as these hotels are essentially like the same thing, almost identical. They were built the same way. So I don't have any reason to believe that Terra Luna is any different in the soundproofing, but I can't say for sure because we did not experience that. But I would say it's safe to say that these walls are also very thin. So if you're a light sleeper or you don't typically sleep with a fan, like we sleep with a fan, and I'm a deep sleeper. So for the most part, that type of stuff doesn't bother me too much. Again, if you're a light sleeper or you've got kids or the kids are light sleepers, like that's something you might want to think about, especially if you're looking to stay, for a week. That could be something that could become a real bother of having these really thin walls, and you don't want something like that to ruin your trip. So it could be something at least to weigh in your decision. So the room was about what we expected here. So we're going to talk about the food now and some of the amenities here. So the food area is called the Omega Cafe and Market. And that's the whole area here. And I do like the ceiling. It has kind of a wave design on it. It seems like it's got slats of wood in it. Has a lot more accents, a lot more colorful features in the food area. The floor itself also is a kind of a shade of red in different areas. So I actually like the theming in the food area quite a bit. It's very spacious. Not a ton of seats, but again, this is only 750 rooms. If you've been to, let's say, Endless Summer, that food eating area in those hotels is much larger, but those hotels have about 2,050 rooms each. So more than double the amount of rooms in those hotels versus these. And if you've been in those, you would notice the food area is much larger. So they're not going to require as much seating in here as you might typically find at a value. But food-wise, we tried a couple of things here over in the Omega Cafe. I got the Terra Burger, not Terra Bowl Burger, but Terra Burger. And this was $16. It's a double smashed beef patty, cheddar cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, pickles, cosmic sauce, and chalea bun. You can add bacon for $1.50. Now, I am a self-proclaimed, I guess you could say, burger connoisseur. I love hamburgers. It's something I always kind of review at places to see what's the best burger. And I will say I was very pleasantly surprised by this burger. It was very, very good. I'm a big fan of Five Guys burgers. So this was not as good as Five Guys, but it was pretty close in terms of a resort hotel burger that you could get. It was very juicy. It's very flavorful. The sauce with it was really good. The bun was good. Part of it could have been I hadn't eaten since noon that day, but it still was a very, very good burger. Better than the burger at Stella Nova. The one we had at Stella Nova was a little dry, a little peppery, and so I enjoyed this burger much, much more. And with the AP discount, it was like $15, $25, something like that after tax. So pretty reasonable for a burger in a theme park hotel. So not bad there, but the French fries that came with it were simple, but still very good, very crispy, very fresh. And the service was very good from the people that order to the people that get your food. It is very, good service all around. Had no complaints about that. Had no issue finding a spot to sit down and eat. So all in all, for the dinner, it was very good. Our daughter got the kids' cheese pizza. It's your basic pizza, nothing fancy about it, but she did enjoy it, and she's pretty picky on pizza, and she said she would get it again. So from a kid's perspective, the pizza seemed to be pretty satisfying and pretty much a hit. And my wife got her food on the Walk on Luna, which is kind of an Asian-inspired food dishes, and she got the Beef It Up. And this was $20. It was marinated steak, broccoli, carrots, charred peppers, fried garlic, onions, mushrooms, sriracha aioli, green onions, toasted sesame seeds. And she could have got quinoa or rice. She went with rice. She really enjoyed this. She said it was a pretty good amount of steak, and the garlic and the peppers and everything like that added a lot of flavor to it. So she really enjoyed this, and she felt it was a healthier option than, a burger and some of the other things. So if you are looking more on the healthier side, they have the Beef It Up. They also have the salmon version of this, and you get seared tofu. On the kids menu, they have things like cheeseburgers, chicken tenders, like I said, pizza. You can get sweet potato fries as well or regular French fries. They have pizza, garlic knots, calzones. They have a turkey burger also, and they have soups and salads you can get as well. So pretty standard food that you're going to find in a quick service, resort hotel. But from what we had, everything was very, very good. We also had some breakfast items, which we didn't have breakfast over at Stella Nova, but we did decide to try it here. So my wife got the stuffed French toast. This was $14. It has sweet mascarpone, mixed berries, and sugar dust. This was huge. It was two almost Texas style pieces of French toast. So very, very big in terms of the portions. Was very good. It was a lot of food, definitely shareable. For me, I don't like berries and stuff like that. So for me, it wouldn't be something I would get. But from what I had of the French toast itself, it was very well done. And again, my wife said she didn't finish it all. She said it was definitely shareable between 2 or 3 people for sure. So that is something you could potentially do if you want to share something. I got the breakfast pizza. This was $12. It has crumbled pork sausage gravy, applewood smoked bacon, scrambled egg, cheddar cheese, and hot chili oil. So you'll see in the picture, I wasn't envisioning the sauce. I guess that is the hot chili oil, so it was a little different than what I was expecting. This was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It had a lot of egg, which I appreciated. I could have used more of the sausage gravy, as typically with breakfast pizzas, that kind of serves as the marinara sauce, like a typical pizza would be. But it was fine, and only at $12 wasn't too bad of a value. And it was pretty filling. So I ate about half of this. I typically don't eat breakfast. I usually don't eat until about noon or so. So I ate half of this and I ate the half of it later. But it was solid. I would probably get it again, but I would probably try some other things before that. So it's not going to be the most amazing breakfast pizza you probably ever had, but it is solid and something that, can hit the spot, especially if you're looking for some eggs and a little bit of sausage. And then our daughter got the pancake, the kids' pancake. So it was a pretty decent sized pancake, had chocolate chips on it, and had the kind of the vanilla sauce on top of it. She enjoyed it. It was fine. I had a little bit of it. It was, a very solid pancake. Nothing amazing, nothing bad. It was just what you basically would expect at like IHOP, about the same quality that you'd find there. So in terms of the food, I think Terra Luna is actually better on the food from what we had. We may need to go back to Stella Nova and try out some of the food items again to see how they are. But from the times that we had it at Stella Nova to Terra Luna, I do think Terra Luna did have better food. It seemed fresher. It seemed more flavorful. And I did like the options there. So while they're very similar, like a lot of the items you will find over at Stella Nova that you will find here at Terra Luna, there are some differences. But I did feel overall the food quality was better at Terra Luna. With the amenities, they also have a arcade area, basically the identical one to Stella Nova. Not very big. You've got air hockey in the middle. You got a basketball game. You got Mario Kart. You got where you can win some stuffed animals and some plushies. So nothing amazing, but if it's a rainy day outside, or you got kids that just want to play some games, you can go do this. I believe to get the game card, the lowest amount you can do on a game card is $15. And if you do higher amounts, you can get bonus credits to be able to use. So you can, spend a decent amount of money in here if you're looking to win some plushies, I'm sure, and things like that. Arcade rooms, especially if it's like rainy outside or something, or you're not looking to go to the parks, it could be an area where you could, spend some time in here. Kids can blow off some steam, play some games, and have a little fun. And another thing that I enjoy about the Universal Value Resorts is the fact that they all have fitness centers. This is not something you typically will find in the value category of hotels. If you look over at, say, Disney World, they do not have fitness centers in their value category. In fact, even their moderates don't have fitness centers. The only one that does is Coronado Springs, because it's also a convention hotel. But outside of that, you're only going to find those in the deluxe category. So I always appreciate the fitness centers that they have on Universal property. So this one was basically pretty similar to the one at Stella Nova. It was a little bit smaller, wasn't quite as spacious, but again, lots of machines. A few free weights, kettlebells, a couple of dumbbells, but very limited on the free weights. A lot of cardio equipment, a lot of machines, but enough in there to have a pretty decent workout. It's not something that would be my ideal gym setup, but again, when you're on vacation or you're just away for a few days, want to get in a sweat, want to work out a little bit, it serves its purpose. There's also a restroom and locker rooms right there. They have water you can get. They have a TV in there, and the views aren't bad. You can see the pool from there. It has floor-to-ceiling windows, so it has good aesthetics for a fitness center, and it is something that you can utilize on your trip. And again, in the value category, I do view this as quite a plus, because this is not always something you find in this category of hotel. And this time we were able to check out the pool, because last time, again, when we stayed at Stella Nova, it was in January and it was freezing and the pool area was actually closed. So we didn't actually get to check out the pool at Stella Nova, but when we stayed here, it was about 79, 80 degrees. So it was just perfect to go out and spend some time in the pool area. The pool is very basic. There's no slide. It's about 4 feet deep. It does have some zero entry points. It also has the kids splash pad area. You do have plenty of lounge chairs around it. There's also games that you can play. There is ping pong. There's a giant Connect 4. You've got a giant Jenga. There's also a beanbag toss game you can play. So they have plenty of activities around there that you could do outside of just swimming. They also had pool noodles that you could use as well. From the hotel, so that was kind of, our kids enjoyed those, so that was nice. And there's 2 hot tubs that are very large hot tubs that we did try out, so those are nice also. So if it's a little chilly, which it wasn't chilly, it was very windy when we were there, so the hot tub felt very nice. If you were in the water in the pool, you were fine. When you got out, it got really windy, you get a little chilly. And right next to the pool is also the pool bar and also grill. This is the Moonrise Bar and Moonrise Grill. This is very similar to the Luna Bar inside. They have a few different options on the beers on tap here than they do in the Luna Bar, but very similar of, the offerings of beer and different mixed cocktails that you can get here. You can also get food at the grill area, which is to the right. You walk around a little bit and there's a walk-up window where you can order from the grill over there. And the hours here are 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the grill, and the bar is 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And the pool is open till 11 o'clock. So the pool bar does close before the pool does. So if you're looking to stay here, go here late at night, the pool bar and the grill are not going to be available. And at the grill, they have typical foods you would find at a poolside grill, nachos, hot dogs. You can get salads. You can do the Terra burger out here. You can do a hot chicken sandwich. They have tacos. And then they have a wrap. They also have a kids menu that has cheeseburgers, chicken tenders, grilled cheese, hot dog. And they do have like an ice cream sandwich. You can get a cheesecake and a mousse out here. So a very limited menu. Some things that they serve inside, but just a few things out here that you can get. But they do have a nice seating area around there. It is also covered, so if it's raining or something, you could chill out under here. One of the tables kind of had that fire pit thing that I did see one of those at Stella Nova also. So you could sit around that in the evening, which would be really cool to do that. They also had freestyle machines out here. And overall, the pool area was fine. It was about, again, if you ever stayed at like Endless Summer, Dockside, or Surfside, very similar to that style of pool area, but very spacious. Our kids really enjoyed the pool. And if you wanted to sit down and have a cocktail or just sit underneath the covering, you could just hang out there, chill out, get out of the sun, and enjoy a drink or have a little snack out there as well. And they also have the Universal gift shop here. And in here, you will find a lot of items from Epic Universe. And I'm sure a lot of these things are going to be available in Epic Universe. But if you're looking before Epic Universe opens to stay here, you can find some things ahead of time. They have a lot of Super Nintendo items, a lot of Dark Universe, even have wands with the Wizarding World you can get in here. And a lot of the merchandise they have featured in previous previews and things that they have shown, you can find in here, along with Epic Universe merchandise, lots of shirts and cups and fanny packs and bags and things. They also have just regular everyday items if you need sunscreen. They even have pacifiers, Tylenol, just things that you may need during your stay in a general basis. They have those as well. So it's a decent sized gift shop in here. One thing they don't have, and we've asked both at Stella Nova and Terra Luna, is they don't have resort specific merchandise like shirts and sweatshirts that you would be able to get that say Stella Nova or Terra Luna. They did say potentially coming at a later time, but as of right now, it is mostly featuring Epic Universe items. So if you are looking for some merchandise or some souvenirs, you can get them in here and not have to get them in the theme park itself or before the theme park opens. And they had some really cool, they did have a reversible star, like a Nintendo star, that reversible like pillow or kind of plushie that also turned into a power block as well. I thought that was pretty cool. So they did have some new items in here that they didn't have at Stella Nova, and I'm sure this will be continually updated as new things come out. And probably one of the reasons people are considering staying here at Terra Luna or Stella Nova is the location. Now, the location of this is within walking distance of Epic Universe, but it's not as close as Stella Nova. If you're staying at Stella Nova, you're about a 10-minute-ish walk right into Epic Universe. Terra Luna is off to the side a little bit, so if you're looking at Stella Nova, it is going to be to the right. If you're looking at Epic Universe, it's going to be to the left of Stella Nova. So to walk over, and the walkways are not yet completed, but you do have to walk down and towards Stella Nova and then over into Epic Universe. And depending on how quickly you walk, you're probably looking at a 15 to 20-minute walk from Terra Luna to Stella Nova. So I would say if your entire reason for staying over here is to be within walking distance as close as you can to Epic Universe, Stella Nova is going to be the better option for that. Both Stella Nova and Terra Luna do have buses that will take you to Epic Universe and also City Walk and also Volcano Bay. So they have bus services to all the places on property once Epic Universe is open. So if you're staying here, you could just take a bus over and probably get there quicker, maybe, especially, if it's hot outside, you don't want to walk more than you have to. Being in a theme park all day, you may want to take a bus over there. versus walking, but it is within walking distance. It's not a bad walk. It's just a longer walk than Stella Nova. So in terms of how I would rate this hotel, again, very, very similar to Stella Nova. There's really nothing that sticks out as major differences between the two hotels outside of I did enjoy the food options and the food quality a bit more at Terra Luna than I did at Stella Nova, but that may be something that is not a huge deal for many people. The pool areas are essentially the same, although we didn't get to experience Stella Nova's pool area yet. They are basically laid out just the same with a few differences, just slight differences. The lobbies are pretty similar. The rooms are basically identical. The main differences here is just really the location of these hotels and how far it is to walk to Epic Universe. You will find Terra Luna to be priced a little bit lower than Stella Nova, presumably because it is farther away walking distance to Epic Universe. So it is a little cheaper to stay here versus Stella Nova. But when it comes to ranking Terra Luna versus Stella Nova, I would give the advantage to Stella Nova for the location and just how similar everything else is in terms of there's no major differences. But I would say, even though it's a little bit more expensive, if your whole goal is to be within walking distance of Epic Universe, I'd say Stella Nova is a good choice for that. But where I would rate this, I would give Terra Luna about a 7.5, 8, I'd say. And I'd give Stella Nova around an 8-ish, somewhere like that, in this category of value resorts. Again, these are value level hotels within walking distance of Epic Universe. There's obviously some pros and cons, the pros being the location and many times the price, although the price has been going up as it obviously Epic Universe opening, lots of demand. So these rooms currently are in the $300 range in the opening time frame for Epic Universe. We did book this hotel in the low, I think we paid $130 because we booked this right whenever they announced that you could book hotel rooms. And we also had an AP discount, so you can get discounts, but on a nightly basis, it's showing it around $300 in June. So the prices have gone up a bit, but it's still not a bad value if you take into consideration, you know, most hotels that are within walking distance of a theme park are going to run you $700-800 more or whatever per night. So in that terms of the location, it's a very solid location with a pretty decent price. Pretty solid amenities for a value level hotel room. But one thing I would consider, like for us, when we're coming for the opening day and second day of Epic Universe, we're actually staying over at Endless Summer Dockside because they have those 1-bedroom suites over there. And we're going to have our kids and our mother-in-law with us. So having that extra space over there is something we definitely wanted to have. So if you're looking to stay here for a week, 3, 4, 5 nights, it's totally dependent upon how, you typically vacation and what you think your family would be good with. For me personally and for us, we typically tend to like more room, and it is a little bit cheaper to stay at Endless Summer as it's farther away. But I do like the fact that you can have more room over there, and then we'll probably drive a car or just take a bus over to Epic Universe. So something to consider the length of your stay. If you're bringing kids with you, like how you're going to vacation over here, how you're going to go about the parks. It's something to consider. But for us, I do think you still get a really good value with Endless Summer, having that extra bedroom there. But if it's just me and my wife, or we're just really wanting to be as close to Epic Universe as we can, I would totally stay at Stella Nova again. I would stay at both of these hotels again. I really enjoyed our stays here. And both of these hotels are a nice addition to the hotel offerings that Universal Studios has. So all in all, solid stay. Again, good value in this category. The location is really hard to beat. And if you're looking to go to Epic Universe, it's hard to beat these if you want to be within walking distance for sure. But either way, though, that's going to be it, though, for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments if you have any questions about Terra Luna or Stella Nova. I will do my best to answer all the questions in the comments. And also let us know if you're planning on staying in either of these hotels anytime soon. And until next time, we will see you in the parks.